a
Hi,
little,
folks.
a little corner of the internet where we tell lies every week. Often lies that belong to a particular indie tabletop role playing game as we take on the roles of characters that we are not in situations we'd never find ourselves in. But sometimes we just tell real lies about our lives.
I just got
This
back
is
from the
true.
rodeo.
Yeah, Kurt and I got married at the rodeo,
Yeah.
and Amanda was not invited because we do hate her.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
that's not
not.
really fair. I mean, it's amicable, but
Amicable hate.
I was also halfway across the world at that time,
That's right.
paragliding.
Amanda's
in
in Brazil currently.
Yep, that's where I'm. That's where I'm
you were
on this
aiming for
call from.
Argentina, but I mean, things
But
got a little tricky with the current.
First time paragliding, so she'll take what she can get.
Is paragliding even a real thing? Can you?
Yeah, it's like
paraglide
gliding, but
with a
only
parachute?
part way.
Only part way. Paraglide.
When you're dealing with
Hold up
physical
now.
disabilities.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's amazing. So should we say, other than obviously being very funny people, should we say who we are?
We should.
Very funny. Yes, we should. We should. My name is Anthony. I am a children's author and storyteller and a lifelong lover of role-playing games. And you should know that I'm here almost every Monday playing games with these two. Kurt, who are you?
My name's Kurt. I'm also here almost every Monday playing games with these two. I make role-playing games and I play role-playing games. And gosh darn, I'm just going to keep doing both of those things. And I'm going to be doing them with my third pal. Wait, am I the
Hello.
second pal? Sorry, I'm having a moment
Yeah,
with my
you're the
other
second one.
pal.
Yeah.
Amanda, who are you?
Hello, I am Amanda, and I am eating this burger.
Oh, an interesting
Just
detail.
gonna
It's very
take the
good.
bite midway through the intro.
Cool.
That's very good.
Amanda's personal chef in Brazil and her Brazilian estate makes the best burgers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, my Brazilian chef and my Brazilian estate. Um, I am a cosplayer, a streamer, a role player, just a general nerd on the internet that makes YouTube videos and streams. And yeah, I love burgers and I love playing role-playing games with my friends here. We're playing a really fun one right now. This is actually, guys, the third part of this gameplay, which is rare. It's a rare thing for us. Even though we just came out of a campaign, I know I'm saying that. I know it doesn't feel like that's rare, but trust me when I say it is rare. So yeah, it's been really, really fun playing. Should we talk about that?
Yeah, we should talk about
But
that.
how it's fun?
Yeah, about how it's fun, about like what we're doing.
What is
General
this?
nerd or nerd general? I could be either. I could be a nerd general if you need one. I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope I don't need to be the nerd general in World War III, but
Fighting against the jock masses.
if I have to,
If I have to.
if I have to be the nerd
Okay.
general, I'll do it.
Thank you for your sacrifice, Amanda. We will follow you into battle.
You're welcome. Excellent. I appreciate it. I know you would. We'll be there making up stories on the front line. I'm sure it'll be super helpful with, the war.
Yeah.
That's what people need at war times, right?
Totally. People to just
Role
make
players.
stuff up.
Cool.
We should probably talk about what the heck it is that we are
So
doing.
hi, Otto.
Hi, Otto.
Yeah, we should.
Kurt, do you want to tell us about the game, and then I can tell people about what we have done in this game so far.
Absolutely. In Butterfly Court, we're playing as the nobles of the titular Butterfly Court, which is the monarchy of the kingdom of Praecia. We are not quite as important as some in this court. We all have goals and dreams and aims, be us fools or up-and-coming social climbers, or perhaps a baroness of a nearby province. But we are not the ruling class. We are not the ruling family, rather. That's the
Are we
distinction.
kind of all a bunch of losers, do you think? Our
Wow.
characters?
Like
I mean, that's one take.
Yeah.
Streamers on
Just
Twitch,
thinking about
usually, yeah, kind of losers.
Well, no.
That's us.
Not us as people, our
us.
characters in the game. I mean, maybe also us as people.
I think
I'm
yesterday.
sure everyone in the world has
yesterday-
been a loser at some point.
Oh, not me thinking that last Monday was yesterday. I think yesterday we learned that my character is more naive than I expected that she was when I whipped her together.
Kurt,
Yeah.
I can't believe that
funny,
you
yeah.
revealed that we don't exist between stream sessions. I'm
They
sure
put me
everyone
back
suspected
into
it.
the supply area, and then I just get wheeled out when it's over.
But me and Kurt are actually like very advanced large language models that Amanda employs because she thought she should have like a TTRPG thing on her stream, and so she like just made us up, and so we don't exist except for when we are prompted to play games.
That joke will be funny for about one more year.
And it's
It's
real.
already not funny to me. But today,
None of that is true, and you can't prove it. So,
That's right.
joke's on you, internet.
dang, get wrecked, folks.
We be lying out here.
No, that one will be a lot more scary in a year when that is true. When you can't tell the difference between people and AI. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about some glorious tea and some high drama. This story got really emotional too near the end last time, which is pretty crazy.
That is true. Do you want me to try to catch people up on sort of what has happened so far and where we are?
Yes, and I
Give
would
us a
also
little
make a
recap.
recap. So yes.
Okay. All
Let's
right.
recap.
All right. As Kurt said, we are in the kingdom of Praecia. And the kingdom of Praecia has three big problems. About a year ago, a strange black moon hung over Praecia one night. Unpredicted, incomprehensible, and in the months since, the royal family has been just befallen by a series of misfortunes. Strange illnesses, bad luck politically, and the kingdom, it seems, has sort of also started to fall to this bad luck, especially the province of Elora, part of the kingdom of Praecia. Elora is a coastal kingdom, coastal sort of province, and it has become absolutely decimated by a terrible famine. All the crops have curled up, blackened, and died. Luckily, because of the bounty of the ocean and the incredible rulership of Elora, people in Elora remain pretty happy. They can survive, but there is a sense that the royal family is cursed, and they need to be removed because their curse is infecting the whole kingdom. And that's the second problem that Praecia has. There is an uprising, a political uprising called the Lunists, who believe the royal family is cursed and believe specifically that they should be replaced by the newly crowned Duchess of Elora, one Callisto, played by Amanda McKnight. Her mother, the Duchess, has just passed, and in an incredible stately funeral, the crown has been passed to muscular Callisto, and the crowds are just overwhelming. They love Callisto, and they don't only want her to be the Duchess of Elora, but they want her to rule Praecia itself. There is an awkwardness as the crowds are so loud and so persistent as they chant Callisto's name that all the royals who attended the funeral just have to sort of file out silently as Callisto receives her praise from her people. So that's a concern number 2. Concern number 3. Neighboring kingdom of Asmari, so this is the neighboring kingdom of Praecia in general, has not been playing nice. They are causing trouble on the borders, intercepting trade shipments, and here and there little military sort of explorations into Praecia's land. They're making it clear that war is on the table. But Asmari diplomats have come to the capital of Praecia, Pheles, to negotiate, and they have made their demands clear. They want the heir princess of Praecia, Rhea. They want her to marry the Princess of Asmari. Little side note, if you weren't with us before, Praecia and the surrounding kingdoms are matriarchies, very strong matriarchies, where every sort of important noble person is female. Noble marriages are between women, and men are hardly ever seen or needed in court, only playing roles of sort of servants, and the most prestigious role you can possibly play is a fool, as a man. A fool.
Enter Anthony's character.
That's right. Rhea, the heir princess, has a fool named Callisto. That is myself.
Wait,
sorry.
I'm
No, you're
Callisto.
Callisto. Oh, no. Okay, wait. I'll try it. The heir princess Rhea has a fool named Orion. That is myself. And secretly, Orion and Rhea are in love. But of course, the heir princess can't be seen in a relationship with a man. Disgusting, impossible. Especially a common man like a fool, impossible. But Asmari wants Rhea's hand, and so now there needs to be some sort of cover. So Orion has been scheming. Orion knows a prestigious, sort of a ambitious social climber named Deimos, who is desperately trying to find her way into nobility, but currently serves as a clerk in a textile shipping enterprise. But she doesn't want anybody to know that. Orion has his information on her, and he has put a plan into motion to sort of cause a distraction, create cover for Orion and Rhea's love, and also provide an excuse for why the princess can't marry the heir of Asmari. And so he has orchestrated a fake romance between Rhea and Deimos. And as we concluded last time, Rhea, the princess, slunk down the stairs to the room of Deimos and slipped into her bed. And one might begin to wonder whether it is a charade or not. And that's where we are currently, I think. Have I forgotten anything, guys? We can also say a bit more about our characters as well.
I feel like that was a beautiful summary as far as I'm
No, I feel like
concerned.
it covered everything. You covered the political stuff. You covered kind of the world building that we've done in terms of like the little things that are happening. And yeah, I feel like, you know what? Doesn't it feel like when we did the last stream, we ended on like that would be the end of season 1 of this show?
I see it as
the
like
finale.
Like, you know how, like,
World.
remember, like, when you're watching Game of Thrones, and, like, there was always, like, maybe 8 episodes in a season? Is that right? 8 or 10?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
episode 7, the one right before the end, would have the most, like, wild, balls-to-the-wall
stuff,
finale. You'd be left on a crazy cliffhanger, and you'd be like, oh, man!
And then you'd realize, like, there's 1 episode left. And you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen? Yeah, that's true.
That's how I felt. We left it. It was like, everything's on the table. What's gonna happen?
The episode 7 of 8 of Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
The what would we call that? The penultimate,
episode.
episode?
And indeed, that was our penultimate episode, because today will be when we're wrapping it up, folks. This will be part 2 of 2. Technically part 3, but one session we just made the world. So
yes, that was kind of, I guess, our part 0.
yeah.
Session 0.
So our grand finale today for this story right here. If you want more recap, if you missed what I said, or if people come into the chat and you want to help them know what's going on, there is a recap 1,
commands,
a recap 2 command, and a characters command that you can use in the chat, just so you know. That's on Twitch. Sorry, YouTube. I don't have anything for you.
Sorry, YouTube. We appreciate you. And in fact, we understand that the only people watching this on a day that is not May 5th, 2025, you're on YouTube. So
you've
much
probably
love,
seen
much respect.
Yeah. You could go back and watch the other parts if you wanted.
Someday, YouTube, I'll post the archive of our past streams. I'll edit them all nice, and they'll go up there one by one, and we'll all be very impressed with how polished and cool we sounded. But right now, they just exist in a languished nothing space, waiting for the day. They
sit and they wait, for the time when they will be born again. But we do have them all, or most of them. We
Most of
saved
them.
a lot of them.
Yeah.
Most of them. There will be the lost episodes. As all good things should have a few lost episodes, I think.
Yeah. Otherwise, are they even good?
Yeah.
Right?
Mystery.
Should we put in the chat, by the way, if you guys wanted, we could type a comment where we say, like, if you like curious about the story or the characters, and then put this in chat and then just pin it to the top. If we ever want to do that for new folks that are coming in.
Oh, nice.
That it'll be pinned.
Cool. We should do that.
Yeah. Do you want me to do that? Do you want me to type something up right now?
No.
No? All right.
Let's get to it, I think.
All right. I can type up a thing for next time to maybe put in our doc that we have.
Sure.
Where we keep stuff. And I can just have it, and then we can just copy, and one of us can just copy and paste it and pin it. So I'll write something up for next time.
Good idea. Good idea.
Sick.
Okay. So the way that this game works is we have like sort of a little dreaming session. I forget what it's called.
Idle dreaming.
Idle dreaming. I got it almost correct.
So close.
Idle dreaming, where we kind of talk about what scene we would like to see next. We decide on what that scene is. Then we play the scene. We tell you what happens. We play our characters. Maybe do some funny voices. And then at the end of the scene, we kind of take score of what has happened from that scene. We have two factions. We have the Lunists, who wish for Callisto, Amanda's character, to take the throne of Praecia, and we have the Loyalists, who wish for the royal family to stay in place. At the end of every scene, we'll see sort of which of those tracks moves forward, and we will also think about the sort of forces that be in the world, including like the people, the whispers, the rumors, fate itself. We'll decide whether any of those things have been changed by the way the scene has played out. And that's everything you need to know, I think.
Yeah, there you go. And so we enter idle dreaming. What do we want to see next?
So we literally left on Callisto at the top of the hill being like surrounded, chanted by her followers, and then this moment with Rhea, the princess, stepping down into Deimos's room.
I kind of want to see Orion and Deimos together. Like, I kind of want to find out what happened with like the whole, like, is Deimos really with the princess, or like, well, what's going on with that, or like, does that create tension? Like, you know,
what about, okay, I like that. What about a twist? What about,
that was part of Orion's plan?
What about a public scene where the princess and Deimos are perhaps together in some way, and Orion is there observing, maybe trying to see how real / not real it is, you know?
I like that.
What kind of public event is that okay, Kurt?
Yeah,
we're playing with Deimos. What kind of
Maybe
public
they're at a
event?
play or something.
Ooh, a play is interesting. Okay, yeah. Are we back in Phyllis? We were in Elora for the funeral most recently, but we can definitely time skip forward if we want, and have everybody back in Phyllis.
I think it makes sense to bring us back to Butterfly Court. Yeah, it's in the name.
It's in the name. Okay. Okay, so maybe we are back in Butterfly Court, and a troupe of actors has arrived to perform one of their plays at the court, and perhaps there's like a bit of like a reception afterwards, before. Yeah. Okay. Is Callisto there?
I don't think Callisto is there, but I don't know. Do you guys want her to be there?
She's not the main part of the scene, so we can maybe play it as maybe she ends up being there, maybe not, if you think it's interesting.
I think it could be interesting to see like what comes out of this scene in terms of what makes it to her and why, like after.
Okay, cool. Nice. Interesting. Okay. Our scene begins in the palace. there is a large open hall that sits next to the theater. And for an hour now, the nobility of Ferris has been gathering, moving about in their brightly colored gowns, sipping wines and other sorts of mind-enhancing drinks, and sampling here and there from the fine food cooked by the chefs of the palace. And all are waiting for the arrival of the princess, who, rumor has it, is going to show up with a new suitor. Most people don't believe the stories. They seem like tall tales. But they sure are persistent. And I think our story opens with down from the sort of large spiraled staircase descends the princess first, and just behind her, an unfamiliar face to most, one Deimos.
Deimos takes every step so carefully, placing weight consciously from one foot to the next, like taking deep breaths. Each step is a step deeper into a society that it is her only goal to enter. She thinks of the cloth that she wears now, and how she ordered it herself from her position as a low clerk, each stitch embroidered in the hopes of creating something that looks more high society than her origins are. And she smiles, because that's what you do. And who wouldn't smile on the arm, well, not quite on the arm, of the princess? I see a pair of eyes across the hall searching mine, feel them almost boring into me. Many people are looking, but one set of eyes is looking differently than the others.
Orion has been at the party for an hour already and has been more anxious than the rest of the already anxious crowd for this arrival. This is his gambit, his play, and this is the public reception of it. So, like a keen director, he taps his fingers on the table and he sips yet another drink, perhaps his fifth or sixth. He's lost count. But there's another emotion stirring as well, because the princess has been somewhat distant since the return from Elora. Just stupid jealousy, right?
It's funny that you should say that this is Orion's play, because I think Orion does have a role to play in this production as someone who is a theatrical sort around the castle. I think maybe there's an interstitial narrator between scenes for this, that we need someone to address the audience and introduce what happens next. And traditionally, that falls to the fool. The lights, as the princess entered, begin to dim, as the princess is always the last to arrive. And so everyone begins to find their seats. There. And then just in a sort of recessed area above the orchestra pit, we see the space that the royal family sits. And of course, even as a guest of the princess, I wouldn't be allowed to sit there, but there's a seat on one side, very close by. And if circumstances were right, it would be close enough to make contact, perhaps whisper something. But now's not time for whispering. Deimos watches, eager eyes, as the fool gets on stage.
My glittering emeralds, my swaying sashes, I invite you here today for a night of enchantment, as today you will be lost in a spell that I and the weary wanderers of the road do cast for you. You will come to a story unlike any you've seen, full of intrigue, of lies, Because we're here on this stage, we are about to enact the story of Severus of the Many Faces.
A murmuring happens in the crowd. An exciting story not often told.
Banned from the court for 15 years. As it was said to encourage acts of deceit. Supposedly used to give the nobles ideas. But our brave queen has lifted the banishment. Because surely, we already know you're up to no good. And there's a tittering from the audience. In tonight's spectacle, I introduce you to Severus. And an actor enters the stage at the far back, dressed in a beautiful gown with sort of an overflowing breast of furled material. Severus is granted a gift by the gods. The ability to change her face into anyone she wishes and take on any role. She becomes the queen's lover. And tragedy ensues.
A flush spreads across Deimos's face, both at that moment and at the moment just a hair later, when she realizes there's an empty seat beside her. Just on the other side, Princess here, and here, the fool jumps down off the front of the stage and settles in.
As things begin on the stage, Orion leans forward. Did I do good?
Yes. Yes, it was a lovely introduction.
And are you excited for your performance? At intermission. That's the act I'm most looking forward to.
A nervous glance Deimos casts towards the princess on her other side and turns back. We can't speak of these things. Not here. You know this. This is your plan.
A fool is never to be taken seriously. Enjoy the show. And Orion sits back in his chair.
I think we quickly learn that the princess is one of those people who, if they're at the movie, they're not going to talk to you. There is no whispering amongst us. There's none of that. There's one brief moment when someone with refreshments, little amuse-bouches, walks through the theater. Of course, it's the guests of the royals. There's refreshments for their guests, but princess waves away. No. Play is happening. And so it's an awkward sort of moment, I think, if not for you, then certainly for Deimos. I'm just here in the front where I shouldn't be.
I think a couple times Orion tries to laugh particularly loudly at sort of like moments where it might be clever to laugh, trying to catch the princess's attention, but she is absorbed. But I think there's a moment where Severus, our main character, is almost killed as an attacker comes on stage in a fit of jealousy. Orion, of course, knows the show well, as do many of the nobles. You do see it here and there. But I think Deimos hasn't seen the show before, and so she's unprepared for this moment. And do you think she might gasp, Kurt?
I think she does, and is quickly embarrassed at that level of display.
But I think that's the one moment where the princess turns, flashing a comforting smile to this sort of outburst from Deimos, and just making eye contact with her briefly before turning back to the show.
Oof.
Yeah. But that's a big statement, a big enough statement that I think we see Deimos turn red, and later, show finished. I don't think that there's as much talk about Deimos and Rhea as we might have expected, because what a show. And oh, such a taboo show to have been gone and to come back. Why, no one can stop but talk about the performance. Yeah.
How is Orion doing with that moment?
Yes. What does
that look like for Orion when that happens, or feel like?
I mean, luckily nobody can see him as he sort of shifts back in his chair. Just what he knows is an irrational flush of irritation across his cheeks. But he channels it as the show finishes, and there's a standing applause for several minutes. He takes the stage as the orchestrator of this event, and he soaks in the applause, making a show of it, doing a dance across the stage, a flip, some fancy twirls of his hands, and finally delivering, "It is not only I who should take credit for what you have seen today. Of course, the talents of the actors are strong, but it is not without the incredible blessings of my dear and kind employer, the heir Princess Rhea, that these events come to your stage today. It is her and I, working in close tandem, that brought this here to you today. And I could not do it without her. To Rhea," and there's a brush of applause, "just the most beautiful and magnificent." And I think the whole crowd, those who are in touch know that it's a bit lathered on strong tonight. And at the reception, Orion is like bustling about, trying to pick up as much attention and congratulations as possible, while trying to catch the princess's eyes as he sort of makes his circles around the room. Are there any other moments that night, Kurt?
I think there's one more. After the show, Deimos goes up to Orion and says, "How do you do it? I must ask."
Whatever do you mean?
"How do you stay in the center of everything, as you have done today? How do you bear it? So many eyes upon you."
I think some of us, Deimos, we have a great empty cavern in the core of us. And it is the eyes and the kind flittering words that fill it. Some of us are just born with it. Unfakeable. In reality, unfakeable. Is it too much? Have I asked too much?
No. This is my opportunity, and I will take it. And I'm just going to take a token and say that I have taken on a task that is too big for me.
Nice.
Just throwing some punctuation in there. For those at home, the game uses tokens, and there's moves that activate, and that's one of them.
I think as the princess leaves, she calls to Deimos to exit with her. And in those strange little scramble, not many eyes left to watch, the princess hooks her arm around Deimos's and leads her from the room. Physical contact, real touch as they leave. But a couple eyes are there to see. Orion's among them.
Great. Okay, that's our scene for sure. Woo!
Exciting.
All right. So, faction tracker. Do we feel we want to advance the loyalists for that scene or the loons? Now, given that this was a pretty comfortable event for the princess, a pretty socially positive, got a lot of credit for things. I think probably that's going loyalist.
I think so. I also think that, like, proper cover for her and Orion acts in the royals' interests.
Yeah.
It's not the best pairing in the world, but at least it's a little bit less scandalous than the truth. Bless you, Kurt.
You don't know that I sneezed? There was no sound at all.
You have no evidence?
No one could know such a thing. Okay, so then do we want to examine quite briefly some reactions of other elements?
Yeah, good question. I mean, the thing that jumps to mind is that perhaps there's some impact on the whispers
For sure.
at court. What do you guys think? What's the takeaway from that for the the gossip mill here in Praecia?
Yeah, like what reaches Callisto about it?
That's a good question. I like framing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Amanda, you want to answer that for us?
I think the fact that Deimos, was just shown so many moments of affection, I think that's definitely going to reach Callisto. Like, that Deimos was there, that they left together. Like, I think I don't know if the stuff with Orion would reach her, though.
Yeah, I think that seems fair.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what everyone would be talking about, because it's, like, fresh, It's like that new.
I think maybe it's actually hit exactly the right timber, which maybe they were aiming for, which is like, you don't want it to be public, but you do want just enough social proof that, like, those in the know are like,
But it's plausible,
oh.
and that, like, people are like, oh, like, that's interesting. It's not, like, super in your face, though, because if it was super in your face, then it's less believable almost, because then it just feels like a cover.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that's what I think. I think it's actually hitting, like, the right note in terms of, I wonder if Callisto actually believes it might be legitimate. Because, like, Callisto didn't really have an opportunity to talk. I mean, I don't know. Did Callisto have an opportunity to talk to Deimos or Orion? Do you think that she knows what's going on? Or do we think that she's, like, not in the loop on this at all?
I
don't think she knows either.
Because you were so busy. You were the center of
I just don't
event.
think people would have time to talk to her about it. And
I don't know if
feel
we'd
like
want to tell her. I mean,
that's what
this
I mean.
is an illicit affair.
I mean, I think Callisto does know about Orion.
Yes, Callisto does know about Orion and Rhea. So that is already out of the bag.
It's not like she's never said it aloud. It's like
It's only been suggested.
A secret truth.
But Orion knows that Callisto knows. You've made it clear.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's right. I would never say it outright, but yeah, I think it's been made clear to Orion that Callisto is aware of it. Even though I think also Orion would never say it out loud, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, we both skirt around the issue.
Of course. Okay, any other forces that should be impacted by this?
Maybe one more thing. I think I'm going to tweak a lever on the winds and say maybe there's I think there's a music box maker who takes one of the songs from the production and commits it to the box. Like, there's a few. I want to say technological progress is one of the options here, and I think there's been a recent innovation of player piano sort of reels, and one of the earlier things that ends up getting to people is a song from this once taboo production. Everyone wants to hear it. It was at the royal court. It aired. Oh, we could hear it too with this music box.
Okay.
So, yeah, Just throwing out there. Kind of fun little playing with one of the buttons we have.
Cool. What do the winds do? It's just fate? No.
Technological progress,
Okay, okay.
upheaval, demographic change, epiphanies, upsetting the status quo, undermining stability, revealing the unknown.
Okay, nice. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's very cool. All right.
So I would love to see you two in a scene, but I think we need to know what that would look like.
Hmm.
Well, I
What would we be
wonder.
up to?
Okay, well, a couple options. Yeah, a couple options. One, now Callisto actually officially has a like position in quote unquote government as the official Duchess of Elora. So like you are like the local, ruler of Elora. So there could be like a actual like proper political meeting between maybe the queen, perhaps the princess. Orion's there because he's always just around, and Callisto to see what the kind of the official relationship between the crown and Callisto is in this moment.
Hmm.
Can I
What
add
do we
something as
think?
well?
Yeah, I love it.
I think maybe it has gotten back to Callisto that this Deimos thing is maybe a shield, a curtain. Maybe that's
Hmm.
something that you have puzzled out. But of course, what's it curtain for? The fool would surely know who the princess was really romancing, what connections were being made. So maybe there's two goals. There's the stated objective of like state to state interaction, that connection there. But then on a more personal level, what does the fool know? What can we
Right.
learn?
What can we learn? But I'm also thinking like, would I just assume that it's to cover up like their relationship, like Orion and Rhea?
I think it's kind of fun if you don't assume that, because then there's such a big like dramatic irony in the scene. But that's just a thought. If you want to know things, you can know things.
But I think it's well
Mm.
established that Callisto does know about Orion and Rhea. But you might think there might.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah.
if that's known, then great, easy. But
Yeah,
I
so I
wouldn't
mean,
mind a second layer then. And what do we think that would be?
One thing you might not know about is Asmari's effort to marry
well,
the princess to
yeah, I think
could
the
be.
question is like, would I be thinking like, why have a cover now?
Hmm.
Because clearly this thing between Orion and Rhea has been going on for a while, right? And they haven't had a cover this entire time.
Right.
So I could be thinking there's got to be some other reason
Hmm.
because, like, why now all of a sudden
Yeah.
do you
Why
need a
now?
cover?
It's a good question. Yeah.
Why now? But it could also just be that I just think it's literally like purely for that purpose. Even then, though, yeah, I guess Callisto would be wondering, like, but why now?
Yeah. I think
Because
that's a
you've
fun
been together
extra.
for so long, and it's like kind of like a secret, like outwardly, but like I feel like a lot of people in the court are like kind of aware of it, but it's like we just don't say it out loud because it's against the rules.
I think it's
So
maybe
we
a little bit
never.
more secret than that because I think it's actually pretty bad. It's actually
So do you
pretty
think like
problematic.
how many people do you think are aware that are around these people?
I think it's like only a handful.
Okay, so a few people at court and that's it, and people probably that are like pretty close.
Yeah.
Wow, so like Callisto is in quite a place of power with that knowledge
Yeah.
that not many people have.
We're not sure why she
Yeah,
has it
so
here.
yeah, she probably would be wondering then. Yeah, that's I like that as an additional layer of like she's made the assumption at this point that it's got to be like a beard scenario. Or I guess like a reverse beard.
Correct. Yes.
But in this world basically a beard scenario. And the whole thing is that she just wants to know like why is this happening now though?
Okay, and then
Also maybe
final.
why Deimos? Like I maybe she thinks Deimos is somehow there's some sinister thing going on.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I like that. Okay, cool. The last thing I was thinking was maybe there should be some like actual political event, newsworthy event that it was maybe happened with the Lunists, because like that funeral was like a real like rising of the tensions of Callisto's backing. I don't know. I was wondering whether like has something happened? Has there been like a some revolutionaries have burned down an outpost or replaced a flag or something that not Callisto's doing.
You guys think that they've conquered some area?
There's not really like a military force. I don't know. Yeah.
Like, have they taken?
I'm not sure what it is.
Something? Do you think it would be like a protest against the crown? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah. Maybe like a tax shipment has been
gone missing,
waylaid on the road and.
Right. Oh, and maybe it's ambiguous if it's bandits or a political statement. It would be well placed to be a political statement, but I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay, that's fun. Is Callisto meeting with the princess, or was the queen there? We haven't met the queen.
I don't know. Would the princess be negotiating on the queen's behalf? Is it possible?
She could easily.
That could be what's happening? Or, I mean...
She's incredibly talented.
My princess could easily.
Do it all. Don't underestimate her.
I think, yeah, it could be that just the princess is there negotiating on the queen's behalf. But I'm also cool to have the queen there. Like, that's cool.
For unity of characters.
Also, Time Roller, hello, what's up? How's it going? Welcome in.
I think just for simplicity, let's have it be the princess. Keep our cast of characters small.
Yeah, I like that. Keeps it personal.
Mm-hmm.
Queen, we don't know that woman. She goes here for sure, but
I can't remember her name right now.
I think it's in the book. Is it in the book?
It is indeed. Yeah.
Are we talking about the queen?
Yeah.
Eotolas. It's actually on the sheet because I knew we'd forget.
Eotolas.
Thank you. It's a hard name.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's tricky.
It is. It's a unique name. Eotolas.
Callisto has been waiting for some time. The refreshments are nice, and the drinks are present if she would like. And the room is beautiful. One of these banquet hall / meeting rooms on the east wing of the palace. But she has been waiting for some time before the doors are thrown open and the Princess Rhea enters, followed by her entourage of like dignitaries and advisors, and in the back, waving a little toodly-doo wave, is Orion, who waggles his eyebrows at Callisto as they enter, and they all sort of form up on their side of the table. You might have some of your people with you, but the other side of the long table is covered in the princess and her entourage as they sit down. Kurt, do you want to be the princess? That'd be helpful.
Sure, I can be the princess.
This is quite the train of people that you have with you today, Your Highness.
Indeed. Well, my court is here, and so here they are.
Princess Rhea apologizes for her tardiness. The Queen is still in talks with foreign diplomats, and the Princess was attending. We broke away as soon as we could, and Orion bows low and stands off to the side of the table, leaning against a wall.
Of course, it was not even a moment of my thought. I am just glad that you were able to make it now, and I am very much glad to see you. Everyone looks quite well in the company, so that is always nice to see at court.
Well, of course, I'm glad to see you as well. I heard, as all did, about the passing of your mother, and of course we sent our regards formally, but allow me to personally say that I am sorry. It is a difficult thing to lose a loved one. And I think there is an earnestness in her eyes. It's not really political maneuvering.
Yeah. I think Callisto says, "Thank you, and I hope that you enjoyed the ceremony as much as could be expected in these troubling times, and also that you did hear me speak afterwards when I was able to speak. That is, I said a little bit more after my eulogy when we marched into the town, and
Many
I was
things were
hoping that you were
said.
there."
Many things were said by many people, the princess says, and at this she is referring to the chanting of the crowds, though she would never speak that aloud.
Many things were said. And I just wanted to say how grateful I am to the crown for both attending the ceremony and, of course, for taking care of its people. Myself included, says Callisto.
Of course.
And I think that she seems pretty sincere, to be honest with you.
It's an odd thing to have this discussion with someone so candid and direct, if not direct,
yet,
then certainly open, when this person is so often a concept. And I think those ideas maybe swirl around as the more formal discussions of court commence. And there's quorum, and there's reports, and there's discussion, and there's border updates.
What are we here to really discuss? Is there something specific that this meeting is about? Is it about?
I mean, I think it's the official handoff, you know, like you're now the ruler of Elora.
Right. So it's just like we have a one-on-one meeting, all of us duchies at some point with the ruler, like in the corridor or something, where we just come in and they're just kind of like, here's how things are looking. Here's what we'd like to see. How is this going? Do you guys need help with this? So it's just a routine conversation. Nothing specific.
Except as we reach near the end of the meeting, I think.
We're going to bring up the whole missing.
The princess is like,
equipment.
As you take your command, I have several key requests of you now that you hold official positions. We communicated these requests with your mother, but she was in ill health for some time. Now, do be aware these requests come from my mother, not directly from me, but it is my job to pass them on to you.
Of course.
The taxes that have not been delivered to the capital are your responsibility to recover. If your security forces are not enough to find the waylaid tax caravan, we expect you to pay from your coffers. As a royal family, you should be able to front the cash for some time. We expect those by the end of the week. Is there a problem with that?
By the end of the week, you said?
Yes. To settle our accounts.
And this came directly from your mother?
Yes, the Queen of Praecia. Your sovereign ruler.
Did the Queen of Praecia say anything else about this request in relation to me and my family?
I don't know what you mean.
At this moment, in a high window that leads, we can see out one window and across a courtyard. If one were to look, one could see a figure moving along the level, pale and pocked like the surface of the moon. But of course, that couldn't be the Queen. No, certainly it wouldn't.
Would you like to hear our second request?
Yes, of course. Please continue.
And for this, the princess rolls out a piece of parchment.
Oh.
The Queen formally requests that the rulership of Elora put down the antagonistic uprising of the Lunists. The heads of their leaders should be delivered to the capital on spikes before the season ends. Not fully complying with this order will be seen by support of the rulers of Elora for the political movement of the Lunists. Do you understand?
I understand.
There is a kerfuffle, I think, at the door as a page arrives. Princess, your not not you, Callisto. Princess Rhea, your signature is required. The Queen, and there's some conversation, and the princess rises from the table, and some of her advisors, and they step back from the table, and there's sort of a lull where Callisto is left alone. Orion walks down the long edge of the table and settles into the chair next to you. Are you all right?
I am. Did I ever tell you about what my mother used to tell me about these meetings?
No. Frankly, we're not that close.
Right. It's interesting because I'm thinking about it now. My mother used to tell me that these meetings were, well, I mean, the least favorite part of what she did. She used to say it was like trying to rule a people without ever feeling that she was able to speak for those people.
Like you're but the disembodied hand of the Queen, beholden to her wishes.
Yes. Like someone else's head is on your own body.
She is our sovereign.
I suppose I should ask how you're holding up, really, before this all continues and everyone gets settled again.
I don't know what you mean. I'm not being subtly accused of being a political dissident.
No, but I mean, well, how are things going at court? With Deimos? It's been.
He gives you a very
of course,
serious, please don't be too loud sort of look.
It's, of course, reached far and wide across the kingdom that the queen, or the princess, has taken for herself a lover. But then I hear it's getting quite serious.
I've heard these rumors too. I cannot say I am not privy to the bedchambers. Whatever the princess wishes, I think should be up to her to have. She is, after all, the heir of the crown. Are you jealous?
Me jealous? Of who, exactly, in that scenario? Am I supposed to be jealous of?
I've just seen how you look at Rhea. She's a beautiful woman. And you did get along so handsomely when you were children.
We did, when we were children. No, Rhea and I, if there ever was a time, I feel it has passed. But, no, it's just, it strikes me as, well, quite humorous that you would ask that question. I mean, who would I be jealous of? I mean, Rhea's with Deimos, which, of course, very happy for the two of them. Deimos is with Rhea. Of course, she should be over the moon. And you,
I am a
Are
retainer.
not privy to the bedchamber.
As household employees commonly are not, Lady Callisto.
Yes, I'm just saying. I don't see who there would be necessarily to be jealous of in a situation like that one.
I will have you know that in my official role, I am as close to the princess as ever. We work in tandem. You might have seen our wonderful play. Oh, that's right. You weren't here for it. But if you had, you would have been highly impressed. We work well together.
I believe I would have been. I'm very sad to have missed it. I did hear the play. It was quite good. It wasn't all gossip that reached me. Although I will say, the play was talked about far less.
Wonderful.
But I'm sorry to have missed it, and I'm glad that things sound to be going well then for you.
Yes. I'm glad you got good news of all my dramas. Wonderful scripts.
Yes, yes.
I might leave you to ponder the fate of your little province. Don't want to distract.
Yes. Yes, the fate of my province is quite a tricky one, it would seem. But I
think the princess is returning to the table now. And Orion straightens
up. I
up.
am confident that everything will turn out as it should. And as always, Orion, it is a pleasure to see you, my friend.
My pleasure, Lady Callisto. And he saunters away from the table. Do you have any final comments? I'm being requested for my next meeting.
No, but do give my love to Deimos.
Good evening, Lady Callisto. Duchess.
Oh, sorry, that probably wasn't to me. I'm just realizing now.
No, it was, yeah.
Oh, it was? Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And the princess stands and turns. The end of the week. Right? The payment?
Yes.
Good. And her retinue leave, with Orion trailing behind. Good luck. And he steps out. I think that's the scene. Anything else, Amanda?
No, I think that's it for this one.
Okay.
So, fun.
I mean,
each scene.
Yes.
Yeah, each scene, all characters have to decide if their character was advancing one side or the other. And if it's a tie, both tracks advance.
To give you guys an update who cannot see our spreadsheet, the Loons and Loyalists are tied at 3 tokens each out of 5. And when one of the tracks fills, that sort of triggers victory, I suppose, for that faction.
Yeah. So I think that one has to go to the Loyalists.
Seemed like a Loyalist push, didn't it?
Kind of got what they came for. I mean, I kind of wanted to do more with Callisto, but I also just feel like it's not the right time. Like, I could stand up to the crown right there, but that's not really gonna, I don't think that's gonna be good for the Loons in the long run. So I think it is better to just say, yeah, we'll totally do that. And then it's kind of like, for Callisto, I feel like for Callisto, this is like, I got a week to make a revolution happen.
That's wild. That would be the name of the chapter in the novel.
1 week for the revolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's basically what Callisto will be taking from that scene. But I don't think, like, I thought about speaking out there because I can, but I just feel like it's not a smart move, you know? Like, you take the time and you try to build revolt, and then we just see what happens, I guess.
Okay. So I think we give it to the
But
loyalists.
I got some good information, so that was good. That was good. I think Callisto did get what she came for.
Yeah. She knows a
Yeah.
little bit more about what Orion and Deimos.
Yeah, the question is what she's gonna do with that information.
Yes, but I think that might be where we're going next. So we're going to give it to the loyalists, 4 tokens out of 5. Any other forces that are impacted by this scene?
I have a suggestion.
Okay.
There's been a lot of talk in the court now about the princess's hand and courtship and what way things are going. What if in Praecia, it's not uncommon for a wedding to be scheduled without it being disclosed who the suitor is until wedding day?
Yeah.
Okay.
So. Okay.
That's fun.
So I think maybe our princess schedules a royal wedding. There's all kinds of rumors about it. Deimos has been seen with the princess. Certainly the princess has been talking with the Duchess. Baroness, depends on who you ask. The rank is disputed over time. But there have been conversations in hushed tones between the two of them, and it certainly would be politically wise. But then there was that Asmari congregate that came after that trade meeting. So hush, hush in the middle of the night. Who were they? A union between kingdoms? Well, no one can know for sure, except perhaps the fool who seems to know all.
I love it, Kurt. This is great. When is it scheduled for? How much time do we have? A week?
When's the wedding happening?
Well, the question is,
happening in a week?
do we want the next? I think the wedding is in a week.
What is
and
also
that's
happening in a week?
Yeah,
That's
I think this
not
is
a lot of time to plan.
I think we have a big scene, is what I think.
Shotgun wedding. What the heck?
Yeah.
Well, the suitor doesn't get told.
Wait, the suitor doesn't get told?
No, if one believes.
No. Wait a second. So wait, are you saying that the princess has booked this space for a wedding? We don't know who's getting married, and she hasn't told the person she's marrying if she's
Not
marrying someone?
uncommon in Praecia, I think. You will you'll have a royal wedding announced.
Wild.
It's a diplomatic gesture. You have a royal wedding announced, and then it is of those who wish to be wed to the princess. They show up, and the princess, presumably confident that someone who she wishes to be wed with will be present,
What the heck?
invites.
What is this? It's
up.
like a lineup. It's like a.
I love the dynamic of it because you can tell the fools who think that they might have a chance with the princess.
But it's suitors.
I don't think anyone
show up?
lines up. Everyone just shows up. It's a royal wedding. Everyone shows up in their best. And, well, one of them's getting married, aren't they?
I mean, who would say no to the princess's
dress?
hand?
That's gotta ruin the vibe when it's like you dress for your wedding and then you find out it's not your wedding.
Well, I don't think there's bridal gowns because, of course, it's always brides. So everyone wears their best.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it.
I mean, I just feel like it would be embarrassing. I would be pretty crushed if I showed up to a wedding thinking I was getting married. And then I found out I was.
Well, that's why we don't date princesses. Why do you think Nintendo's ever made it concrete that Mario and Peach or like Link and Zelda, you don't want to deal with princess courtship?
This has to be a royal only, and only this country does this. Like,
oh, sure.
Like
it's
other
a
people
edition.
would come over from neighboring regions. Maybe this is part of why there's that conflict, actually. Maybe it's because the other country, what's their name? Amaria or Amari? What's it called? Asmari?
Asmari.
Asmari?
Asmari.
Maybe Asmari is like, this tradition is so ridiculous. We have to go to war with these people to stop this nonsense.
Amanda hates this world building. This is too freaking much. Too much drama.
Asmari is definitely trying to invade just to change this one rule. I swear, they're going to change it, and then they're going to say, you know what, you can have it back, just you better not change that rule, or we'll be right back over here. Don't make us come back.
But the wild thing is that Asmari is there. I mean, we will find this out.
Yeah, well, Asmari will be there because they're going to have people showing up for this wedding that maybe it could be their wedding. We don't know.
Yes,
I don't know whose wedding it is. I think I know, but do I? Does anyone?
So the
Does
question
princess?
for us is the next scene at the wedding? Or do we need to see perhaps a couple, maybe at least one little beat in preparation? Because not only is the wedding happening, but also Callisto's payment is due on the same day. So if she's going to do anything, it has to be done before this wedding takes place.
But if that track fills up.
Yeah, we are at 4 to 5 on the Loons track. So
Loyalists.
Loyalist track. Sorry. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, one possibility is we could see 3 solo scenes where just each of us is there in the week leading up to it.
Before the wedding.
Yeah.
That's
I
great.
like that.
And
I
maybe
think that's really good.
Maybe
I
we
think in the
fudge
show,
just a little.
it's going to be good for the pacing. Each character will get an episode, you know? In the HBO series that'll be coming next year based on our Butterfly Court story. That would be good because then it's like kind of building up to like what's going to happen.
I like it. What were you going to say, Kurt?
I was going to say, what if we nudge the track a little so they're both at 4 for the last scene, just so that we don't know where it's going to land as well?
That's fair. I mean, if this was a little mini scene that's happening right now, I could totally see that probably whatever happens in Callisto Land might be a nice bump forward for the Loons, and the tracks might even out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the last scene could have gone to the Loons if I had been more bold, but it wasn't
okay.
the right.
It was a great beat, downbeat. You know, Callisto's got to see some. There has to be some fight for Callisto to be motivated to move. So I think each of us is in charge of our own little scene and telling people what happens. Does anybody have an idea right up front that they want to start with?
We see, we see Deimos at home. Where is home? Well, of course, home is not much. A little apartment above the offices by the docks where she works. She doesn't mind the smell of the sea. In fact, the breeze, for all that is said, is not so different down here than up in the high echelons of the castle. It's grounding in some sense to hear the mill of the people about. Deimos stands in front of, I think, a small hand mirror. Glass is dear enough, but you can get something to see yourself. Stands in front of her hand mirror and picks up a little piece of embroidery that she's done. A woman in profile, hair done in a certain style of royalty. And she looks at it and thinks about what's going to happen tomorrow and what's going to happen to her and how, of course, it's just part of the play. It's all written. She's just moving along, and this will ultimately benefit her. But what about that one moment? And our scene shifts, and we see one late evening at the castle, a curtsy from Deimos to the princess leaning over, giving a kiss on the cheek that felt real. And close to the lips as well. and slower. And what kind of performance is needed now at this hour in this hall? But it's all part of the performance. Put on your smile. She closes her eyes, and our camera just pans to a gown hanging up nearby. Of course, as all of them, made by Deimos. This one, of course, in the style for a wedding.
So everyone does wear their wedding dress. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you wear your wedding best. Yeah. You don't wear your best when you go to a wedding? For God's sake, Amanda.
Ugh,
Well,
Amanda.
I wear one option out of, there's a few options you can have, I think, when you go to a wedding. You gotta have a few options. But if it's my wedding, there's only one option, I think.
A suit.
Yeah, a suit. I'm gonna look really sharp in my suit at my wedding. Wait till you guys see it.
Can't wait. That was a great scene.
That was really good. That was great.
I think we'll see Orion next. Orion is walking through the large, empty grounds of the palace. He is solemn. He is not being watched, and so he is not putting on a show. His head hangs low. His fingers nervously play with the embroidery on his leggings. He approaches one wall of the palace, and you can hear the bustle of the city, the common folk on the outside.
Who embroidered his leggings, and was it Deimos? Sorry, I just have to ask that question.
This was a special commission, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, keep going, I'm listening.
The bustle of the town and the common folk from the other side. And there is some shouting, though he doesn't really pay attention. And a purple ribbon comes flying over the wall, caught on the breeze. He reaches out and catches it out of the air and looks at it. There is a black moon embroidered on the top of the ribbon, and written down the length of the ribbon, it says, Queen Callisto. This is one of the handouts that the rebels have been passing out in the streets, a sort of pamphlet of sorts. He clutches it and slips it into the pocket of his frock as he walks back towards the palace. He goes up the stairs towards his chambers, the princess's chambers. And he walks into the first room of her rather large complex here in the palace. It's quiet. There aren't many people around. Rhea! He calls. And he just hears commotion, just movement coming from the bedroom. Rhea, you missed our walk. It is Saturday. You missed our walk. There's no response. I understand. There is a wedding in a matter of days, but we haven't missed a walk in years. I suppose I wouldn't be so upset if you gave me anything to do in this wedding. I've been involved with every other event, yet you leave me out. I could perform, even. I would be happy to sing. It's common even for a fool to do the reading. I know it's optics, but perhaps we'll have dinner. There's no response in the other room. Of course. You're busy. And he steps out into the hallway and stares down into his hand where he clutches the purple ribbon, the moon, Callisto's name written on it. And he thinks over his options.
One more scene.
I think Callisto, we see her back in her home, and I think that she is in Elora. She is bargaining with someone. Does anyone want to be the spy that Callisto employs?
Sounds fun. Do you want it, Kurt?
Yeah.
Anthony, if you could, I would love to just see where this goes.
So, are you sure this is something that you can get in for me? Because it's very important that you do. There's a lot riding on this.
I've told you, my lady, I believe we have a chance, but it is not at all a certainty. There is security, after all.
Of course, of course. But I'm hoping the fact that this is something small will make it easier on you. However, if there's a chance that this falls into the wrong hands, I'll need you to ensure that it never sees the light of day.
I understand. I
Excellent.
am well rehearsed. My lady, if there was a connection on the inside, I know I've already asked, but if this is of as high stakes as you say, if there was someone who might allow passage.
I am hopeful that this will reach the right person to be that someone.
I see. Yes, ma'am.
I want to thank you for your service and your assistance in this.
The spy reaches up and pulls down her collar slightly to reveal a moon tattoo beneath her collarbone. I would die. I would die, my lady.
I'm hoping that you won't have to. That hopefully after this next week, that no one will have to. But I don't want to put too much pressure on you. There's already enough as is. So thank you. And hopefully, and Callisto takes the spy's hand. It won't come to that.
Yes, my queen.
And Callisto bows very deeply to the spy and leaves the room. And I think we flash forward to, if you guys don't mind, that scene with Deimos and the wedding dress, Kurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where you were wedding best, wedding dress, wedding best. Where you wrapped. And I think that's when there is a knock at your door as you're staring at that dress.
She raises, stands. She's not in her court attire, but no one from the court would come to find her here. So she walks to the door and opens it.
And I think there's no one there, but there is a little letter in a very inconspicuous envelope. It's I think it's a very small envelope, so it's inconspicuous in the sense that it's small, but I think it is bright red, the envelope. It's very eye-catching.
What else could she do but open it?
So she takes it. Does she open it at the door?
She goes inside. She has enough
Okay.
sense for that. Closes the
Okay,
door behind her and opens the envelope.
So in the envelope, Deimos is going to find a letter. And the letter says, "My dearest Deimos, I know that what we had was brief. But getting to know you those few months that I was at court before the passing of my mother really allowed me to see what I had to do. I cannot promise you a great home, much wealth. I cannot give you everything that you deserve. But I can promise you a life that will be worth living in a world that hopefully is better than this one that we have allowed others to build for us. Seeing your skill, experiencing your skill when you embroidered my cuffs that one summer has inspired me to fight for the people that I think deserve more in this world. Now that my mother is gone, there is nothing holding me back from igniting the spark of revolution, one that I have been building for some time. I cannot ask you to throw away all that you have built, but instead, I would like to make an offer to you of my hand. If you choose to accept this, know that there is nothing that I won't do to see you smile, and that every day that we have together will be better than the last. If you align with me and give up the princess, we together can take down the people that should never have been in a ruling power. And hopefully we can also help to find some peace for Rhea and Orion, who I know should truly be together. And I know that you know this, considering your relationships. Yours, whether you accept or not, always, Callisto.
We see...
And I think there's little waves at the bottom of the page. Like it's like on a special stationery that it seems like Callisto may have even like hand painted herself.
We see, I think, not her face. We don't get to see Deimos's expression. But we see that she stands very, very still. All the people are gathered now at the royal wedding.
Yep.
Sat in our very best. Our dresses, our suits, our motleys, our very best selves, or so we like to present. At the front stands the princess, alone, at a pulpit, a prepared speech in her hand, and before her is a vast gathering of people. The breeze rustles us, moonlight falling down. It is night now, and the starlight from above, bringing out every little detail or every little aberration in our carefully composed outfits at the court. Here, we see...
So it's nighttime?
It is nighttime, yeah.
Moon in the sky.
Can you see the moon? Is the moon visible?
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
We see amongst the many people there, it's funny how you always end up just where you feel like, of course you do. In a line, we see sitting Deimos, Orion, Callisto. Among the throngs of people here, we three together, last minute, pushed here by the tides of those near the front. Not too eager. Certainly there's feather-capped hopefuls, women from all swaths standing in the front row. What a shame for some of them.
Are all three of us kind of just near the back?
Not near the back, but not right there. The
A
princess clears
respectable distance.
a respectable distance. You
Don't wanna
can't
be
be
too
too eager. Such a thing would make you lose such face, especially today with such mystery. And the princess clears her throat. The moon shines brightly on us congregated here today. Even that is enough to spread murmuring. Dear court, dear beloveds, we are here for matters of the court and also matters of the heart. Bridges between those who are apart from one another, from two different worlds, like weaving a thread, like drawing a card, like drawing in a net full of a day's catch. And surely she can't be looking at the three of us as she says these things. Surely those were just any metaphors. Today I mark a change. Today I mark a change in the winds and in customs. I am, of course, speaking about the one who I shall wed here today. Murmurs and glances, all three of us. And so, as is custom, I call up my fool to speak the name of the one who I will wed. And of course you were ready for this. Up you shall go, and then the princess shall whisper the one of who shall be called into your ear, as is done here.
Orion stands, looks to Callisto, then to Deimos, gives her a nod. Then with a bright smile on his face, walks to the central aisle. And then towards the front. There is shouting. Just commotion from beyond the palace walls. The common folk are excited, perhaps, about the royal wedding.
Surely.
You can see fires here and there in the town squares from our place up perched high above the city. Orion steps to the front. Beautiful embroidery today. His face fully festooned in glittering eyes, each the same emerald color as his own. And he takes his place beside the princess. It is an honor. And as is tradition, I, the vessel, await your words.
She leans in and whispers, that warm breath you felt on your ear so many times before, but now in such a different context, and so public. She speaks.
I'm sorry. An emotional moment. The princess will wed Orion, the fool.
And everyone gasps.
There's almost an uproar, in fact. Even the princess looks surprised, with herself, surely, for having made such a bold declaration. And that uproar suddenly doesn't seem to just be coming from the crowd, but all around us, as a different group of people moves inwards. These ones bearing uniforms.
I think that there's a collection of people. There are the people that have poured into the palace from outside, that were rioting in the streets, that did not reach the crown because they were so focused on this wedding. I think that there is a bunch of people that work in the castle. Do you guys think
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
the court.
just like turn like instantly to join the mob? So like some of them are dressed up, some of them are just wearing whatever they have, and then there are those that like definitely are dressed like they belong in the court. Other royals as well as servants at the court that have just like flipped and joined everyone.
There's a pained wail, a cry, no, from the castle high up. Queen Rhea. Well, she isn't here amongst us, is she?
Queen Iodalas.
Queen Eodalas. Queen Eodalas. She isn't here amongst us, is she? And how strange that she should catch the moonlight so vividly. How strange that she should seem to glow herself from that high tower. But her voice is quickly drowned out by the incoming throng of people. And the scene devolves into chaos.
I think there is a speech that Callisto gives. And while I think history books would say that it happened before any of the rioting began, before the chaos even started, Callisto actually said it much later. It was actually said quite a bit after everything. And she talks about how the wedding was the final straw, and how knowing that one of her childhood friends was in love, she tried to look the other way, but that betraying the traditions of our people is an insult to not just the crown, but to the whole country and to even surrounding nations, that it was an insult to our neighbors, and basically condemns the princess for ever having a relationship with her fool. And I think Callisto actually bans fools afterwards.
In the great chaos of that moment, not even knowing what she's doing, of course, running on impulse, Deimos runs towards the podium, the speaking podium, and clasps the hand of the princess and the fool and pulls them, runs with them out from the throng.
There are just a few of the soldiers still standing by the princess's side, and they give the chance for the escape as the princess, the fool, and Deimos run. We
Do they make it?
We reach the wall of the palace. Here, a secret door opens into the city and perhaps, hopefully, the refuge of night. And as they reach it, the princess turns to Orion. She asks him, "What did you do?" And he straightens up. "I love you. That's more important than all this. The writing was already on the wall. I did what was right. Our love above everything else. Right?"
And she begins to cry. Epilogue.
I was gonna say, oh man, okay, we could leave it there. I'll hold on to my thing.
Does it fit in the epilogue, perhaps?
Mine was gonna be after that moment, but it makes things maybe too tragic, so I'll hold on to it. I can tell you about, what the post credits could be after if you guys want to hear my idea of tragedy in this place.
Okay.
Because it's less, but I feel like it's less ambiguous, so I feel like that's a good way to leave it. I don't know. For the epilogue, I guess where do these characters end up is the question.
I had a thought for us.
Okay.
But you had a little hand there. Did you have a little thought too?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
No. I have ideas, but I think you should go first.
I think we smell, before anything else, the rich scent of a heady tea. Dark and smoky, as they brew only in Asmari.
Is it Lapsang Souchong?
I think, yeah, like a lapsang souchong, maybe hints of cardamom, and
I could dig it.
some osmanthus flower for color. We smell that heady, smoky, floral, spiced tea the region is known so well for. And camera sort of pans out and we see a modest, but not without means, domicile. Tapestries on the walls, all manner of fabric craft. And we see 3 pairs of shoes by the door. Boots that might be worn by a common woman. Boots that might be worn by a man about court. And shoes that, in truth, really aren't terribly practical. The kind of thing you'd only wear if you were some kind of princess.
And many leagues away, in the neighboring kingdom of Praecia, do we see anything in the palace, Amanda?
I think there is some redecorating happening. And we see that the crest of Callisto's family and the colors of Elora have infiltrated the throne room.
And outside, a wagon pulls up to the front of the palace. The tea shipment from Elora. And it fills the streets with a beautiful smell. The curse is lifted.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this playthrough of Butterfly Court. What a treat to be able to tell stories with these two, as it always is for me. We will be back, perhaps next week, probably next week, with a game of dialect in which we will be creating a kind of language, and you'll be sharing it with us. We played dialect once before, 3 years ago, almost.
Almost. We
Oh my
looked
God.
back today. So it was a while ago now. And Kurt redid the sheet that we used.
I didn't have a sheet. It was too ambitious. 3 years ago, I would not have known how to make it, but now,
now he's got a sheet that we got
now
to
I've
try
got a
out.
sheet.
We're the play testers, not for the game, but for the play sheet.
It's been play tested.
Oh, never mind.
Not
We're
even
not
by
even the
me.
play testers. Just Kurt wants to show us his cool sheet, and we liked dialect, so we all said, "Yeah, that sounds fun." So, and dialect was really. I'm very curious to see how our playthrough will change this time. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And I mean, maybe we'll put up the dialect episode at some point soon for you guys. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube if you're not subscribed to the YouTube, because when we do put VODs up from our previous stuff, that's probably where it'll end up being. And we want to try to do some more like shorts and stuff over there. We were talking about doing that. So, you know, if there's a moment or something that you guys even see as well in the stream, and you want to put it like in my Discord and the lives you'll enjoy, like if you guys do clip anything or anything like that, if you make any clips, or if you have a moment that you think would be like a cute like short moment, let us know, because yeah, we want to do more of that.
It's true. We're going to get to it soon. Now that we're
And also,
affiliates, we
thanks
can
for
do
following.
anything.
We're affiliates. That is cool.
That is cool. Thanks so much for joining us every time. Always a joy to have you here. Amanda, you got anything to plug? I guess that was kind of some things, but you do more.
I do have some stuff. There'll be stuff probably popping up on the YouTube channel, hopefully tonight before I go to bed. We'll see. I got to make some content, but I'm also kind of taking a little bit of a mini vacation right now, so stay tuned for that. And then I will be back on stream on Wednesday, I believe. I think Wednesday morning, Lucy and I are going to be back doing some more Split Fiction. Oh no, not Split Fiction, because we finished it. We're going to be playing A Way Out. We're going to be two criminals that just met in prison, and we're trying to escape together. It's another Hazelight Studio game. It's super fun. And Lucy seems to have forgotten the story, which I think is one of the most heartbreaking stories of all, guys. So I can't wait for Lucy to rediscover the story. We've both played it before, but she doesn't remember and I do. And then I will probably be back on Thursday night, where we'll probably be playing some more Assassin's Creed, and then Marvel Rivals on Friday, most likely. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's me. What about you guys? You guys got anything going on?
Yeah.
What do you got, Kurt?
If you live in the United States of America, first of all, hope you're doing okay. Second of all, a shipment of my games have arrived at Indie Press Revolution, so you can score your own copy of The Hourglass Sings, Sock Puppets, or Big Dog, Big Volcano, all of which are now in stock and probably on the front page of their site, I am told, depending on when you're listening to this. So feel free to snag yourself one of thems if you want a physical version of my games, because off they are now. Wow, so cool.
That's very cool. Very cool indeed. Nothing from me except that would like to send y'all who are watching over on Twitch over to another stream that's going on right now. Roll D5 are playing You Awaken in a Strange Place, which is a cool indie improvised storytelling role-playing game with kind of a silly, fun hijinks sort of vibe, I believe, which is a nice dessert for the drama and tragedy that we have here. Yeah.
Can I tell you guys what my tragic ending was going to be?
Oh, yes, of course.
Just before we launch.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was going to just have Callisto come in and then like basically capture them as they were about to escape. And then I wanted to have like a showdown scene where you guys would basically be like like, Callisto, though, like, you're probably going to let us go, right? Because we were all friends. And this isn't really about, like, crushing us particularly. And I was going to have Callisto become, like, just a verified villain and have her be like, yeah, but I care about you guys, but I can't let you live. It's too dangerous for me and what I'm trying to do here. So you got to die, so you're dead now. And I was going to end it like that with, like, no hope for love, because I love what our story became. And I the moment that you said Orion, I was like, well, that's it. Callisto's the villain of the story now because she's opposing true love. That's how that's got to go. And so I was like, interesting. But then it also just made me think about how, like, who really, even as we were leading up to the scene, who really was the villain of this story, and was there a villain? And I was just thinking about how all of our characters were so cool because, like, almost any of us could be the villain or be the hero, including the NPCs that we made. And I just thought, that's depth, man. When anyone can be, it's not really about who's the hero, who's the villain, but that's just a matter of perspective in the story. Like, you know?
I'm a fan.
It was fun.
And I like the fact that that all kind of came to light only at the end of the story of, like, if there even is a villain. So cool.
So cool.
But then I was like, if I end the story like that too, it's such a freaking bummer ending. So it's like, let it be ambiguous and let us wonder about these characters who are lovely.
Yeah.
And if they found happiness in life.
Hard to say.
It was a nice ending. It was nice. Perfect.
Yeah, it was very good. Very well played, everyone. Good job.
It was really fun. Shall we sign off then for tonight?
Yes.
Let us raid.
Let us raid.
Let us raid. Excellent. Thank you all for joining us. We will be back probably next week, this time, Monday evening. And for now, head on over. Raids you'll enjoy. Let Roll D5 know. And we will see you again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. I did a little too early. We have to wait a couple seconds for the raid to start. So
yeah. If you guys want, I'm trying to copy paste this so that you guys can do, like, drop this.
Oh, nice.
In there.
I'm
struggling because, like, I'm on an Apple. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Not at your home setup.
I'm a PC user, and I don't know what I'm doing, guys, and I need assistance.
Is this an Apple ad? I can't tell. Okay, there you go. That is our war cry.
Wow, all caps.
Oh,
Good
wow.
Lord.
Just is it sending now? I can't. Yeah, that's what you want.
No, there's still like half the thing. I see the bar. It's halfway down.
Because my computer is mad at me now. Oh, no. But everyone else, please copy and paste it.
Copy and paste it, folks.
Me personally,
browser has frozen.
I'm going to use lowercase.
Wow. All right. Well, I mean, Kurt's not excited about our raid, so that's fine.
No one uses lowercase for raids. Kurt,
you loser.
I can put an exclamation mark at the end. Maybe an interrobang. Would that be good?
Raid you'll enjoy?
I mean, yeah, it's always all caps for raids so that people are like, look at these nerds coming in. But I like.
How do we actually just unlock the ability to have emotes? I'm saying just as we all leave.
But for now, we've got to go. See you guys later. Bye.